Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake. Football is back. We're going to talk about that. But first, I want to hit something quickly. We're 3 weeks out from baseball playoffs. Can't believe it's already here. You guys already know all the big stuff. Braves nasty. Dodgers nasty. Good teams good. The wild card races are still a lot of fun. Texas and Toronto are about to tee it up, playing for that last spot. So that's a lot of fun. Interested to see where that lands us, and I think we're going to have another foolish episode the rest of the way and a couple other baseball things going on. I will hit you with this because I think it's something that the company is built on. It's a little bit of emotion. And us Yankee fans got one more. I didn't even think we thought we could get knocked down again, but we did. Jasson Dominguez, Jasson Derulo, tore UCL, 21, 20? 21?
20.
Can't legally drink. Jasson Dominguez, one of the Yankees' most rumored prospects in a while for the past 4 years, nicknamed the Martian, comes up and kind of became the White Knight, the Harvey Dent of this Yankees season. He, switch hitting outfielder, all five tools, and he got out of the gate hot, and man, Yankee fans needed it. Even remember, this time last week, Yankee fans were starting to still think playoffs again. That sprinted out the window with a center fielder, another position player for the Yankees, getting his UCL. So he's getting Tommy John. They're saying 10 months or so. There's some variance on that. But yeah, a guy that, if you've heard any of our Talking Yanks or anything else, changed the whole dynamic of the Yankees and was such a big solution. It changed their offseason plans. It provided hope for next year, and now that is almost out the window. Although, you know, Yankees rumored to be in on that Japanese pitcher, Yamamoto. Not sure that's going to help with their 29th ranked offense, but yeah, I think the headline that I want to pass on to you guys, and I'll see what else I'm missing from the top of my head. But, man, this might be the worst Yankees season I've ever been a part of. We'll see where the record lands. There's obviously the 500. Yankees have had a record over 500 since 94 or whatever it is, 93. But, man, where the expectations were, and everything that's happened, there was a tweet going around. Yankees fans have been mad at their health and conditioning staff for a while now, and you don't know how to really compartmentalize that. You got to compare it to other teams and what's fluky, what's not. This year, their catcher, Jose Trevino, coming into the season, played with torn ligaments in his wrist for months. He was having a bad season. He finally, caved in and admitted it. And they ended his year, okay? Anthony Rizzo, first baseman, superhero, mayor of Chicago, played 2 months with a concussion that was seen happening on the field. 2 months. It was in the middle of the lineup. They never moved him out. So there's health stuff there, and then there's some other stubbornness there. Now we've got this prized gem of a possession that made Yankees games watchable again. I went to Yankee Stadium. I hadn't been there in months. I want to see his debut at the stadium. It was a reason to watch. And yeah, that's before getting to Domingo Germán, who was kicked off the team after having a perfect game for being drunk in the clubhouse and making fun of guys. Jimmy Cordero gets overlooked. Domestic assault. He was off the team right away there. And, yeah, just the whole thing. Farm to table, soup to nuts, however you want to label it. It's, man, it's kind of a breaking season for Yankees fans, which I know a lot of you kind of like and are looking for. So, with that, and with where we'll be for the next little bit, a fresh start, a hello fresh start, as we get into football season. And it was nice to enjoy the games this weekend, place some bets. We'll talk about that in a minute. But maybe you should check out HelloFresh. 40 recipes, 100 additional add-on type items. Find what you want. Easy recipes, 15-minute meals. So this is, after seeing a few of these different companies, HelloFresh is in a nice sweet spot of you are participating in cooking and making a meal. Like, it's not like you're just throwing something in the microwave. Like, no, you're actually, you get real ingredients. You're making a real meal for yourself. You kind of get that reward of cooking and fresh food on the table for you and maybe others in your life. So why don't you go to HelloFresh.com/50Jake? What do you think that's about, huh? 50Jake for 50% off plus 15% off the next 2 months. So that's almost like 65%, Jake. Don't think it works like that. HelloFresh.com/50Jake. Start using America's #1 meal kit today. There's a link in the description. Save yourself time shopping and cooking with HelloFresh. Let's talk some football. And if you didn't hear the tone in my voice talking Yanks, let's talk some football. And I love doing the old rewind through the weekend because it kind of paints the picture and it brings us back because, God, sports moves quick and we forget everything. We'll also be doing some different football stuff, trying to mix in Panic. Chris Rose, we didn't get to do our preseason Chris Rose episode. People are crying. Bobby, go check out Football Today too. But from the top, remember Thursday? Lions beat the Chiefs. How about that?
We watched that game.
Right? Moves quick, man. And there's some weird Kelsey before the game. He's out, and you start doing like, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, or are they the Chiefs? Without Kelsey, sometimes they're the Chiefs. Chris Jones, healthy, in attendance with his 2 agents, or 2 guys who are his friends who look like they very well could be his agents. That whole scene was weird, and I want to give, like most people have at this point, give the Lions credit, man. This is kind of a sexy Lions team. They took a step forward last year. A lot of times when we get ready for this hype season of let's go now, a lot of teams fall flat on their face. They beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. I don't care who's on the field. It's a great way to start the season, and we love our guy, Jared Goff, having fun on the social media with some Detroiters, Tim Robinson, really leaning into it. And another Jared Goff note really quick. This might sound dumb at first, how much does he want to be good? Like, he was traded for Matthew Stafford, and then Matthew Stafford and the Rams won the Super Bowl. The Rams basically said, you're the weakness on our team. Why don't you get out of here? And they were kind of right. Like, Jared Goff is a pretty motivated MFer. And so is his coach, and so is that whole team. They're a bunch of dogs. Lions are going to be fun to watch this year, and nobody is worried about the Chiefs. Let's get into your Sunday. There's no Saturday games yet. We'll start hitting that point of the season where there's games everywhere. Everyone checked out the Bama-Texas game, but my God, that Bama quarterback, he was getting some audible groans out of people from the way he was playing quarterback. He's a kid. Maybe he's getting better. NFL Sunday, the first game that's smack dab in front of me, the closest TV to my face. Browns-Bengals. This game was horribly sloppy. It felt like it was 3-0 forever. Browns end up running away with it at home. This was a fishy line. The Bengals were like 1-point favorites, and you're like, the Bengals, the team that every year we're like, they might be the only guys that can take down the Chiefs. The Browns. Deshaun Watson, it still wasn't pretty. His final line, 154 yard. This felt somehow, some way, divisions have a way of living up to who they are. This was the most AFC North game ever. Browns, Bengals, everything's orange. It felt like the game stayed the same until the very end when Cleveland opened it up with a couple big plays. Nick Chubb is the best running back in football, IMO. McCaffrey probably has so does Austin Eckler. How underrated is he? he is just a bowling ball. Browns 1-0 against the Bengals. Bengals fans are not worried at all because if you remember, they kind of did this last year. They got out of the gate slow. They were one of the first teams that did like a full-blown, we don't care about preseason. So I think their first couple weeks in a long season, they don't really care. Interested to see if Jasson actually starts looking better. He had a couple plays where it was like, ooh, all right, that's a talented dude. He also had a few plays. I mean, he had one of maybe the worst interception of the weekend where he was just rolling out and he just straight up threw it to the wrong guy. Kind of a bizarre look. Browns fans, excited? Bagels fans, not worried. Is he saying Bengals or bagels? Jaguars, Colts. A lot of people on the Jaguars. Jaguars are a sexy team. This game got scary for a minute, and I thought it could be a little, in Indianapolis, that's a proud fan base. That place can get loud pretty quickly. Richardson, let's see what he got. Well, fantasy owners, I think you found out. Richardson's going to put some points on the board this year. Will it lead to success? I don't know. That whole Colts roster doesn't do a lot for you. Jaguars, they end up putting up 14 points in the fourth. They were actually down going into the fourth quarter. Lawrence puts a couple plays together. And how about Calvin Ridley? I mean, when guys don't play, it rarely feels like they come back and they're ready to go. Ridley had a big day. Our guy Justin Pennick last episode said he should be a difference maker for them. He ends up, Jaguars get a win on the road. Colts could be a long year, but after what you saw from Richardson, I think you're 37 pass attempts. 24 for 37, 223, 1 TD, 1 pick, 40 yards rushing and a touchdown in his first game. Colts fans would have signed up for that beforehand. Good for them. Calvin Ridley and Zay Jones with one of the better catches of the weekend. Jaguar stock stays the same. Colts, I think everyone was out on. Vikings, Bucs. Baker Mayfield. Where you at, kid? 2 touchdowns, no picks. They end up beating the Vikings in Minnesota, and Alexander Madison gets nothing done on the ground. Neither team really does. Rashad White, who is a sexy later fantasy guy this year. You get the Mike Evans touchdown. You get Justin Jefferson, 9 for 150, that guy. Even Jordan Addison, who everyone was falling in love with in the middle rounds of fantasy football, he gets a touchdown on a board, 61 yards. Kirky loses 2 fumbles in this one. Yapes. And hey, Bucs, a team that nobody is into this year. I mean, it feels like they're recovering from their Tom Brady hangover. Who, by the way, he was all in at Gillette. I don't know. Doesn't that seem a little fresh? Hello, Fresh. I don't know. He was like running on the field, and they were honoring him.
I know they did the ceremony and stuff. He's having like a Pat's day.
The whole Tom Brady thing, man. I don't know.
And I know he was like around the Raiders in preseason too. Like I was listening to a Jimmy Garoppolo interview.
Is he lonely?
I think he's just like kind of talking to everybody.
Everyone check in on Tom Brady when you get the chance.
He's got that new Delta gig.
It's huge. Glad. It's changing the way I fly.
Delta CEO just wanted to hang out with him, right?
Yes. Basically, anytime you see a person in a profession, I don't know if this is true or not. I would guess whoever employs Urban Meyer for the college football pregame shows, I bet they're a big Urban Meyer fan. Because otherwise, I have no idea why that guy has that gig. Bucs take down the Vikings. Hey, in that division, Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield's a pisser. They've got Chicago next week. Why not make it ugly? That division will be ugly all year. Baker's got some piss and vinegar. Vikings, I don't know. I think it's just a kind of a sleepwalk week. Luckily, you're going to Philly next week. Vikings. Chargers after that at home? Whoa. Team that racked up a ton of wins last year and nobody believed in, and they ended up being right. We could be looking at an ugly Vikings record. I think their fourth game is against the Chiefs. Could be looking at a 1-3, 1-4 Vikings team. Don't know about that. Saints-Titans, maybe your winner for ugliest game of the weekend. 16-15. Welcome to the Derek Carr Show. Ryan Tannehill, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. God, that's bad. Carr ends up throwing for 305, Mr. Worldwide. Olave with 112. Rashid Shaheed, he was their draft pick last year, speedster, 5 for 89. He'll probably be a big fantasy ad this week. On the other side, DeAndre Hopkins, 7 for 65. Everyone was kind of wondering how that was going to blend in and work. He's getting targets and looks. He could put a season together. This is an ugly game in the Dome. I mentioned it on the last episode with Pennick. It's crazy. The Saints are the favorites to win their division, but you can very much talk yourself into a Carr Saints storyline that gets off with a win, 16-15. That was games that didn't get highlighted on Red Zone this weekend. Titans, Saints, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, Texans. My goodness. A game I do want to talk about, because it's a team that you guys know excite me if you were listening last year. And if you're one of the baseball people giving Little Poppy a football shot, know that I appreciate you. And something that we do at John Boy Media is our Against the Spread League, where each of us take turns making a pick. You pick one game against the spread. There's a draft order. And basically you'd pick who you want. If you want to run the same team every week, if they're there. We put out the graphic, I think every Wednesday or Thursday. We want to get it out before the first games. I am your defending champion. I had a crazy year last year. I went it was 12-5 or something. It was something silly. It was out of my Q zone. Opening week, where am I going to go? Open board. I'm looking at it. Team I liked way too much last year. They play kind of a ridiculous style of NFL football. I took the Falcons -3.5 over the Carolina Panthers. They won 24-10. Bryce Young's first game. There's some stats out there about rookie quarterbacks in their first games, and they went 0 for 3 this weekend. It's a near impossible task. You're a rookie quarterback that gets placed on a bad team. The formula there is awful. You want some fun Falcon stats? That's why I'm here. Desmond Ridder, final line, 15 for 18. 115 yards. Yeah. I think they're going to take a page kind of out of the good Titan teams. Give the ball to your running backs. Algier, 15 carries, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Good for you. Like the way he runs. Bijan Robinson, 10 carries for 56. Okay, that's not bad for a rook. He also 6 catches, 27, and a touchdown in the air. And one of the more impressive touchdowns, too. Really nice juke move. He looks like a freaky athlete. There's a reason he went that high as a draft pick. Falcons cover. Make sure you guys on the DraftKings Sportsbook are placing your bets. They're an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 on football and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Get in on NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code BAKERS. Wow. To sign up, new customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BAKERS. The crown is yours. Thank you to DraftKings. The other against the spread picks, I just had it up.
I'm looking.
You
at
got
it.
it.
It was a good week for the league,
right?
Justin turns in a Jaguars win.
Yep.
Had them covering. Bobby had the Dolphins +3. Up. Trev had the Lions +4.5. He got his taken care of early, and Canobio, the only one with a dud. He had the Steelers.
Yes, he did have the Steelers. He sent a formal apology. I guess if we were doing biggest takeaways from the weekend, Brock Purdy's good.
He's a quality quarterback.
With that team, the Steelers defense, I think they're still the Steelers defense. I think we'll look back at this 30-7 victory that was just dominant. The Niners' only question has been quarterback. They stuck with Brock Purdy. They believed in it. McCaffrey goes 22, 152 on the ground with a touchdown. He just needs to stay healthy. Brandon Ayuk, man. I mean, he's kind of gone from bonus piece to best receiver on the team. Like, Debo's his own creature, and I think his RPMs have turned down a little bit. Could be wrong. I think you see that in fantasy drafts. Debo goes later than he used to. There's more options, but I think his physical style of play, I think it's taken a little bit of a toll on him already.
Caught up a little bit. Certainly from a traditional wide receiver standpoint, Ayuk is number one right now on that team.
8 for 129 and 2 touchdowns. Debo gets 5 and 55, 2 carries. Kittle, 3 for 19. I mean, the Niners' biggest problem is they don't know. Well, they probably know where the ball is going. We as fans don't. And that's what makes them really difficult. They're stacked at every position. They even we placed a friends bet that was Bosa to get a sack. He did not. Because they got all their sacks on the final drive, and the Niners already had their second team out there. So they are going to be there at the end. I'm feeling Brock Purdy made plays like early on in this game when he needed to. Like, there's Shanahan drawing up the offense and the ball's going here. He escaped the rush one time, blindside rusher. You didn't know if he was going to see him. For a second, you were like, okay, this looks like a fumble and can change the whole tone of the game. Spins out of it, rolls the opposite way, makes the throw. If Brock Purdy can do that with the Niners, they are who we thought they were. Kenny Pickett, let's find out. Everyone was high on Kenny Pickett, and everything out of camp is good, and the Steelers' second year. There could have been a little bit playing the Niners, but I don't know. The Steelers were outclassed. The question is just going to be, how many teams can the 49ers outclass this year? And if Purdy looks like that, they're going to outclass everyone. That was fun. That was probably the game I was the most locked into in the 1 o'clock, at least until halftime, because they were just dominant. I'll be honest. Commanders, Cardinals, Texans, Ravens. I don't think you learned anything about any of those teams. My God. I will say J.K. Dobbins getting torn ACL. That one hurt me. I like him a lot. Took him in a lot of fantasy leagues, so there's a little bit of selfishness there. I admit it. Justice Hill ends up running for 2. That guy, if he wasn't on a bench somewhere, he will be a big waiver ad this week. God, I hate that for Dobbins. He's nasty. I love the way he runs the ball, but this is full-blown injury-prone, another season. Like, God, hate to see that on week 1. Something else we found out this weekend. The Green Bay Packers. They put up 38 points on the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love's final line. 15 for 27, 245, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Whoa. Aaron Jones puts together an awesome day. God, it feels like sometimes that guy shouldn't be sharing carries at all. As A.J. Dillon goes 13 carries for 19 yards. Yikes. Jones was awesome. The Green Bay defense started getting involved late. Justin Fields, he was on the cover of the thumbnail of our last YouTube episode because he's been a hot topic. Ends up with 216 passing, only 59 yards on the ground. Just a reminder, because I think I looked this up last time, and if I'm right with numbers, I think Justin Fields as a starting quarterback is now 5 for 21. Or 5 and 21, not 5 for 21. This isn't hitting. Everyone's wondering where they stand on Fields. I'm pretty out until I'm in. I know that sounds lazy a little bit, but he's got to pass and win games.
He turns in, 2 cool plays every week. I don't think he's without having a chance, but it's time to prove something.
You got to pass and win games. That's where the NFL is at, except for my Falcons. Eagles, Patriots. Everyone starts laughing. Eagles go up 16-0. It's going to get ugly. The Eagles are back. Hey, either maybe they pressed off the gas, maybe the Patriots get proud, but this turns into a game. Late, the Patriots have the ball and they're driving. They can't convert and get it done. Mac Jones' stats, 35 for 54, 316, 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. Okay. New England's running game really did nothing. I know our guy Zoe is a Pats fan. He was laughing. There was a couple plays where Zeke was running routes, and I guess that wasn't aesthetically pleasing. I don't know. I think there's normally, you see this more in college football, where if a team goes up early, they kind of turn off the gas, and then you look up late and it's a game. I don't know what to take away from this one, because the first quarter, nobody was shocked. The rest of the game, everyone was. So, hey, maybe a little hope for New England fans, although everyone I talk to does not have hope. And Eagles, I don't know. You get a win on the road in the NFL, you give a corny speech about it or something like that. They host Minnesota, night game. I believe Kirk Cousins is awful in primetime games. I'll be on the Eagles, and I'll see you guys there. Dolphins, Chargers, I could have written up pretty much what was going to happen. Dolphins win 36-34. It ends up being back and forth in the whole second half. It's kind of fun Madden video game football with both of these teams. Dolphins push the ball downfield so aggressively. It's unbelievable that Tyreek Hill is still that guy. He's faster than everyone. He has one of the biggest fantasy weeks of any player on the board. 215 receiving, 2 touchdowns. He said his goal for this year is 2,000 receiving yards. I kind of laughed because it's like, okay, yeah, players, I don't know. What's he supposed to say?
He's just on pace to, lap it.
Go for 215. Austin Eckler is still a bowling ball and fun to watch. 117, 1 touchdown. Herbert, I don't know. You guys know I love Herbert, and I'm not the biggest Tua guy. Although I think football-wise, I'm in. With what they have set up in Miami, it's fun. I just do think he's going to get banged up at some point, and then what does that mean for your season if you're Miami fans? But if they could get him healthy to the playoffs, I'll buy in a little bit. Herbert and the Chargers, I don't know. This feels like every Chargers loss for the past 3 to 30 years. Even the Rivers times. I don't know. I did win some money gambling because I said I'm pretty sure this ends up with the Dolphins winning on the final drive. That's not exactly how it went down. But, God, 36-34. Dolphins win. Chargers are left what? What do we do wrong? I don't know. Another takeaway before we get to me and BBD's teams to wrap it up. The Rams roll over the Seahawks. For me, that was a head tilt moment. Not that I necessarily believe in Seattle. I think a lot of people think Geno was a little fluky, and we saw them slow down towards the end of last year. But it's in Seattle. There's a chance they run it back and look pretty good this year, right?
They're a team that prides themselves on having a home field advantage.
Pete Carroll's a good coach. 12th man. Sure, put it all in my vein. And they're playing the Rams, who, they gave up on their season last year. Something that a lot of people have overlooked because there was shoulder concerns, and I remember there was retirement concerns. Matthew Stafford is back for them. Actually think about that. Think about how much we talk about quarterbacks. Matt Stafford could be a top 10 quarterback this year, on the fringes of it, at least. He throws for 334, no touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams and Cam Akers combined for 3 rushing touchdowns. Puka Nacua gets 10 catches for 119. Same with Tutu Atwell for the Rams. This was without Cooper Kupp, who, fantasy owners felt the pain of him not starting the season with the team. I don't know. It feels like we've come a long way from the Super Bowl Rams and offensive guru Sean McVay that now they're back with their quarterback. They get a nice win on the road. So Rams host the Niners next week. Let's see if they can actually bait us in a little bit. They go Niners and Bengals. Yikes. In Cincy? Tough ask. But good for the Rams. I'll go pretty quick on this. Broncos lose to the Raiders. The onside kick to start the game is so pathetic. I'm so not into it. And, you're talking to a guy. I've played a lot of Madden games. I think I lean on the riskier side when it comes to sports. Because why not? Right? If it works, right?
We're here to have fun.
No. You're supposed to be starting out a new era of Broncos football. And you started out with an onside kick at home against a team that's supposed to be one of the worst in the NFL. This should be kick it off, play our game, win by 13 points. We're the new Denver Broncos. Let the defense get a stop. Let Russ drive it down. Use Mile High as the advantage that it naturally is. And no, you threw it all out the window. It's not all on the onside kick. Russ's stats don't end up looking that ugly, but neither are Jimmy G's. And this is just sloppy. Jacoby Myers, a lot of people liked him as one of the more underrated signings of this offseason. He goes for 981 and 2 touchdowns. Broncos leading receivers. Samaje Perine, the backup running back, 4 for 37. Adam Troutman, one of the tight ends in the mix, 34 yards. And then there's Cortland Sutton, who he did catch the touchdown. Just massively disappointed. I've been walking around for the past couple weeks like, ooh, hey, Broncos, are they going to start out 2-0? No. They lose the first game. They lose it after starting on like a chicken shit move. Like, to start the game, man, that's... I've been genuinely asking myself pretty hardcore if they recover that, which they almost do, right? It's 9 yards deep, they end up on top of the ball. If they recover that, am I out here being like, whoo, Sean Payton, gunslinger, he's new sheriff in town? No, because this is a game that if you are the Broncos you can be, like Russ is serviceable to maybe better than that. You got a couple running back options. Sutton out wide. You've got a good defense. If you believe in your team, the formula to beat the Raiders should not involve an onside kick. I hated it. I can't believe he started off this era of Broncos football this way. And they've almost lost me off the line. Like, they play the Commanders in a 4 o'clock game. It's sports. I could get hooked back pretty easily. But I don't know. The 1-0 Commanders come into town after handling the Cardinals. And then, unfortunately, there's only one game left. It's Sunday night. I went to Connecticut this weekend, played some golf, watched some football. Opted out of talking Yanks. I probably could have done it. I either would have had to mess with train times a little more or set up remotely. I said, you know what? It's towards the end of the year. Joe's or Canobio, we want to get them more in the mix. We'll get Joe's in there. And maybe Jimmy will even like it too. Me and Jimmy, we spend and talk a lot of Yanks together. Sometimes you mix in Joe's for an episode. It's like, ooh.
We haven't gotten that much of the Joe's Jimmy, like, talking Yanks combo. Like, I'm into it.
You never know where the silliness or the real Yankee combos are going to land. And they get hit with the Dominguez bomb right before the episode. Pretty brutal. Good for views. Tough for energy of the episode, as you've heard Wake and Jake start off the same way.
Tough for views the rest of the season.
So, okay, you know who's playing on Sunday Night Football? The New York Football Giants. Coach Dayball. Danny Dimes is back. The Giants improved their roster. We've heard a lot about Darren Waller, sexy fantasy pick. The Cowboys are coming into town, and a lot of the Twitter feed is, the Cowboys, is McCarthy really the guy at coach? Is this going to be his last year? What's Dak?
It feels like the same story as it is with them every year. Like, yeah, they're very talented.
Yeah, you know a lot of the names.
Don't love their coach. Dak feels like isn't going to elevate,
but it's the Cowboys, right? Like they'll find, they'll end up around 500. They're overrated. They're the Cowboys.
A good regular season. They're sexy, but
the Giants got embarrassed at the party. Opening drive, blocked field goal, return for a touchdown. Okay, that feels as bad as it can get. Pick 6. Oh boy. Are we unraveling? Are we building up for the comeback? Like, is this going to be one of those, sitting at like 19-0 and it's like, well,
you can make this interesting still.
Football, the energy can change pretty quickly with one or two plays, right? It never changed. The Dallas Cowboys, how about them? Tony Pollard is electric.
Really?
Guy's legs look like they move at a different speed. The rest of the offensive numbers for the Cowboys aren't crazy flashy because they didn't need to be. And the Giants' stats. Maybe it's a perfect storm. Maybe I'm overreacting. I haven't fully checked in with Bobby and Panic because, I don't want it to be twisting the knife. I think maybe the biggest thing I learned this weekend is that I don't think the Giants are going to be it. I know there's a lot of comparing New York sports teams, and I think a lot of times that can get lazy, but the argument about the Giants this offseason was a little similar to the Yankees. Like, the Yankees added Rodon, so everyone was like, okay. Like, the Yankees won a lot of games last year. They added Carlos Rodon. They should be better, right? And the Giants, Panic kind of said that on here last week. Like, they added Waller. It's their second year, Jones and Dayball, right? Like, they added some people defensively. This is really easy to say the day after, and maybe I'm just wrong. But I don't know, man. I look at the Cowboys, and I look at Dak and Daniel Jones. I'm not the biggest Dak guy, but it's Dak 9 out of 10 days over Daniel Jones for me. It's just where I'm at. Saquon and Pollard. Let's call it even. Let's call it even. There's arguments both ways. Let's just call it even.
Sure.
CeeDee
the problem is that it shouldn't be that, but yes.
That's how running backs go, though, right? And Tony Pollard has been awesome. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, no one on the Giants team is close to that level.
Don't have a receiver.
They added Brandon Cooks. Gallup is there. I mean, I think you could argue any of those three would be the best receiver on the Giants.
Easily.
Darren Waller, sure, you've got their tight end room beat. Offensive line, which, if there's anything the Talking Giants guys will tell you, how important that is. The Cowboys might have the best defensive line in the league. The Giants are going to have to figure that out, and maybe they can, and maybe that's the hurdle I need to get over in my head. But also, the post from them last night was the Giants' last 2 games, they got beaten by division opponents. What is it, like 74-7 or something?
I have 78-7 in my head. I don't know which number's right, but
this was in the Meadowlands. They've got to play the Cowboys in Dallas. They got to play the Eagles twice. The Giants feel a lot closer to the Commanders than the Cowboys. Than the Eagles. I mean, that's not even a conversation. That I don't know. I want to believe in Daboll. I want to believe in winning games when it matters. I think football has shown a lot of times year over year that luck and a couple plays here and there can change a lot of W's to L's or L's to W's. I don't know. I hope it's an overreaction, but I don't know. There's a lot of eggs. To be into the Giants, you have to have a lot of your eggs in on Daboll. Right? Like, you have to believe he's one of the best coaches in football to like the Giants. Like, offensively, talent-wise, like, you have to be all in on Daboll. I don't want to throw out his whole previous career because of one game that became a disaster quick, but to have the Cowboys and McCarthy, who, the Talking Giants guys, they shit on McCarthy. Like, they do not think he is an advantage coaching-wise at all. Maybe it's a mess. I don't know. I think I'm out on the Giants. I hope I'm wrong. But that was tough.
That was tough. That was as bad as the first game could have gone. I can't say I was going into it expecting a win, but I expected a competitive game. And like everything you didn't want to see, you kind of saw. So hopefully Arizona next week is a get right week, and then we'll see how they handle San Fran the next week. But and the whole way, even Bobby and Justin, I think would tell you, like, the Giants I think the Giants did overall definitely get better this year compared to last year on like a roster standpoint. But that doesn't mean it's going to translate to more wins. They have a tougher schedule this year. They, even within just the schedule overall being tougher by like literal opponents, the construction of the schedule is tough. A lot of their home games are late in the year. It'll be cold. It'll be all that. A lot of on the road early. So it's the chips aren't necessarily in their favor as is, but it's hard to bank on playoffs.
Hey, Giants fans, hopefully I'm entirely wrong. Maybe it gives Daboll gets to coach him up tough this week, and they go into Arizona and they send a message, but I don't know. I wouldn't, not putting my money on the Giants at Arizona. San Francisco, Seattle, Miami, Buffalo.
They have a pretty daunting schedule that after looking like that week one, just to have all the optimism of the season, there was legitimate reasons to have all of it. The like juice is gone. I don't think they have no chance to do anything, but it's hard to be excited, especially the day after.
Maybe it's the beauty of sports.
And hey, how many teams sometimes just getting your teeth like fully kicked in, that can wake you up.
Yes.
This doesn't feel like it.
I think the final logic I landed on this morning in the shower, where I do my best thinking. Hope before the season, any sport, that's when it's number one. In the Giants' wildest dreams, there wasn't Super Bowl hope this year.
No, if you did, it was
just not.
It was a miracle run. You probably got lucky with guys being hurt that you play against in the playoffs.
The Dallas Cowboys, actually could. Dak can be good enough. They have Micah Parsons. They have they have an offense and a defense.
They have some substantial slice of the pie.
I don't know, man. That felt kind of eye-opening to me. I liked what the Giants were about, and it's let's get a little better, and if we can get a little better every year, maybe that's our game plan. I don't know if the NFL works like that, man.
It moves quicker than you'd like.
I don't know. Everyone else in the Division One, maybe I'm just a salty Broncos guy. Maybe.
Well, there's a lot of season left. We're going to learn something.
We're going to learn today. We will see you guys Wednesday, and we love you. Goodbye.